So recently, as you've probably seen, I've been reacting to the university league tables and rankings throughout the UK. And one thing I've noticed is that the first time I did it, I used the Guardian league tables. And everybody told me that the Guardian league tables are capped, I should not use them, I should be using the complete university guide. So I thought, you know what, fair enough, maybe the Guardian are just rubbish. So then I went on and I used the complete university guide league tables, and people were once again telling me that these rankings were rubbish, they're capped, they're useless. I should be using the Q World Rankings. Now, there's a few things behind this, and I think the first is that the QS World Rankings are very different to the University UK rankings themselves that are all domestic, which, as everybody said in the comments, makes zero sense. But I think there's a second thing to this, and the second thing is that people are telling me to use the university rankings that have their university highest, and I would do the same thing. Guys, this is the last time, and unless something major happens, this is the last time. This is going to settle every dispute. Because I believe last time I checked the world rankings, you've got universities like Manchester that are not in the top 10 for the UK, but they're beating the majority of universities in the world. And it does lead to some confusion. Yeah, you know. Today we are reacting to the world university rankings. Apparently they're very different to the UK rankings, and I'm intrigued to see what one's top. Off the top of my head, I would say like Stanford, Harvard, Cambridge, Oxford. And then maybe a few rogue ones from places like Australia, maybe UCID, probably University of York. It'd be interesting to see if there's any from Singapore or Dubai or any of the really rich nations that are going to be making it up into the top university world rankings this year. I've got a new song coming out on the 1st of Feb. So
I don't care, I'll play with it. Took you to my friends and they just texted, said they love you. Got up on my phone.
Please do check it out. If it's awful, never listen to it again. If you like it, add it to your playlist, support it. And yeah, let's settle this. If I get any comments saying I've used the wrong university league tables again, Okay guys, so you can see we're about to react to the top universities in the world. This is settling everything, I promise you. Not looked at this for 2021, so everything's going to be a surprise when I click on it. Okay, topuniversities.com. Okay, so the top university in the world is MIT. Of course it would be MIT. I completely forgot about MIT. Followed by Stanford, and then surely it's followed by Harvard. Yep, so the top three, MIT, Stanford and Harvard. And I think these three are the most renowned universities in the world. It's going to be interesting to see when Cambridge and Oxford come up. In my head, they're coming up next, but I might be wrong. California Institute of Technology, I did not even expect that to be fourth. Coming in at fifth, University of Oxford. Okay, interesting. So first UK university is the University of Oxford. So QS has the University of Oxford down as the first UK university and the best UK university. The Guardian also had, I believe, Oxford at first, but the complete university guide had Cambridge at first. So the Oxford is potentially this year better than Cambridge. Coming in at sixth on the list is the ETH Zurich Swiss Federal Institute of Technology. That's very interesting. I did always wonder what the kind of outside of the UK and the US, what the first country would be to have a top university there. And it is Switzerland. I've never really heard much about this university, but I feel like if they've got Institute of Technology, which 3 of the top 6 do, then they must be good. I kind of don't know what it means to be an Institute of Technology. Okay, so it specialises in engineering, technology, applied science and natural sciences. That makes sense. So where is Cambridge going to be? What's the difference going to be between Oxford and Cambridge? It's one place. To be expected, Oxford and Cambridge very close together here. Now, this is when from here downwards, I'm kind of unsure what is going to happen. Imperial College London comes in at 8th in the world. That's actually crazy. That is a really big surprise for me because Imperial College London didn't really rank too highly in terms of the Guardian League tables. It came 9th in the UK, but it's 8th in the world. So this is what we're saying, like, league tables rarely do make any sense. And Imperial came 5th in the complete university guide. But that's what a lot of people were saying. They were saying that how can Imperial be ranked 8th in the world but 9th on the Guardian League tables? None of this makes any sense. And coming in at 9th, Chicago. 10th, UCL. UCL is 10th. And it's 14th according to the Guardian League tables. But on the QS, it's also 10th in the whole world. That is fascinating. That is very, very interesting. The disparity between them is just confusing my brain. Like, maybe I should make my own university rankings. Alright, now we're going to take a look at from 10th to 20th. Are there any surprises? Well, we've got in at number 11 the Singapore National University of Singapore, and that is one that I think has climbed a lot recently. And the Nanyang Technological University, Singapore, NTU, also climbs. We've got another Swiss one. We've got a mainland China one, Tsinghua University. And then we've got the University of Pennsylvania, Yale, Cornell, Columbia, and the University of Edinburgh coming in at 20th. I've got a good friend of mine who goes to Yale, and from speaking to him, it was 10 times harder to get into Yale than it was to any of the ones on the UK list that are above it. Maybe the Oxford, Cambridge slightly different. I've got a friend who goes to the University of Princeton for a track and field basis, and I can say it looks like their track and field team slaps hard, dedication at its finest. And at this point, guys, I'm going to say thank you to today's sponsors, Amber Student. Amber Student is a platform where students can book accommodation near their universities. They are operational in 100 plus cities all over the world, in Australia, Europe, United States, and the UK, and they have 20,000 plus listings on their site. They're a dedicated student accommodation platform, and they provide end-to-end support for you not having accommodation to getting the accommodation, and their aim is to make that process as hassle-free as possible. So right now you can see I'm on the Amber Student website, and I can search by college or city to find some student accommodation. Let's say I was going to university in London, or I needed accommodation in London. I would simply click on the London city and scroll down and try and find what accommodation matched all of my needs, and if there was anything I needed support with, I could, get support. It is a very simple to use and nice platform. So if you do need university accommodation, wherever your university journey takes you throughout the world, please do click the link down in the description below and book via my Amber Student link. And thank you to Amber Student for sponsoring today's video. Back on with the rankings. We've got EPFL Switzerland, but all I see is EFL. Is it EFL Premier League? Oh, that's why, English Football League. Yeah, so there you go, the English Football League there. Columbia, Edinburgh. And then we got one coming in from Japan, China, mainland again. Coming in at 27th, we have the University of Manchester and King's College London at 31st. And it seems like the University of Manchester on the world rankings is fairly high. But if you take a look at the domestic rankings, Manchester is coming in at 25th when it's 27th in the world. We scroll down again, Manchester's coming in at 17th. And on the world rankings, it's 25th. This is honestly blowing my mind. I think the more videos I make reacting to these university league tables, the more confusing it gets. The Australian National University coming in at 31st. Now, because I have an interest in Sydney, it's 40th, so obviously went there. And now I wonder where the University of York is. Let's go by location. The QS World Rankings have as the best universities in the UK. Oxford, Cambridge, Imperial, College London, King's College. A lot of them are London based. Glasgow 77th, St Andrews 96th. University of York 150th, Exeter 164th. Interesting. I wonder what the best university in Slovakia is. I'm not even going to try and say that. What about Turkey? I don't know what it is, but I kind of feel like I'd want to experience university in Saudi Arabia. Peru. Imagine going to university in Peru. University of Cyprus, they have one university. Got a bit distracted, but let's take a look at the ranking indicators. So these university rankings are based on the academic reputation, employer reputation, faculty student, international students, citations per faculty. So really MIT is great for international students. Let's take a look at them. Let's take a look at these rankings for UK universities. So in terms of overall score, the University of Oxford appears to be 2.4 points above Cambridge, and Imperial College London along with UCL is very, very closely behind Cambridge here. I think if them two overtook Cambridge, it would be like a sort of revolution in terms of the best universities in the UK. And then slowly you start trickling down into the lower ranks. York is 50.3 out of 100, which is pretty awful, to be honest. It kind of leaves the question of, given we've now reacted to 3 university rankings, what can we conclude? And I think we can conclude that University of Oxford and Cambridge are the best 2 in the UK. Everybody knew that. I think another thing to be noted that I didn't really expect too much of is that Scotland have quite a few good universities. And again, that if you're going to university in London, one of the main universities in London, you can expect a very, very good quality of degree. But obviously there are sacrifices when you go for the pure academic universities because you have to work very hard. So me personally, I would like to be in the balance of, let's say, 90th to 170th, where you're still getting a very good quality of degree, but you still have that time to to mess around and, go out and do other stuff as well as. So although the University of York is not in the top 100, I feel content having my university ranked 150th. I'm okay with that. And then in relation to the other universities outside the top 2, the top London ones and Scotland, I think that they vary so much in terms of what's better than what, depending on what university league table you look at. And obviously you don't need to look at league tables to decide what university you should go to. They're a good indicator of what ones you should look at. For me, it's so much more about the feel I get when I speak to people who have gone there, I look at the website, or I look at the department rankings, etc, etc. So if your university's last, it doesn't matter, is what I'm saying. So yeah, thank you very much for tuning in to the last episode of the university rankings this year. Make sure you leave a like, subscribe, let me know what you think of that, and stay around till 2022 when we can react to these university rankings again. Recently it's been quite hard to film podcasts because I can't have people around my house because of lockdown, and so what I thought I'd do instead during this time is to interview some of my friends and get them to answer some questions that I think will be beneficial to everybody and are quite interesting. So first up on this series we have my friend Maticus.
The next question, top 5 most important healthcare tips for people our age. People will go to the gym, they'll work out, and they'll go eat McDonald's afterwards and wonder why they're sore the next day or why they're not putting on muscle. Tip number 4, I'd say, is sleep. Sleep, like nutrition, is extremely undervalued.
All up in my head, that's how I behave. Passing up the same, waking up the same. All up in my head, that's just how I behave.